Hey, what's up, everybody? The weekly Torah portion is Vayishlah, and it's time for a new episode of Gimme Some Torah. Today, we're going to look at Genesis, chapter 32, verses 23 through 29. This is the incident when Jacob sends his family and his possessions across the Yabok River and remains in camp all alone. It is at this point that he wrestles with a man until dawn. This man is an angel of God, and when the angel realizes that he is not going to win the wrestling match, he wrenches Jacob's hip and demands to be released. Jacob refuses to do so until he receives a blessing. The angel then changes Jacob's name to Israel, which means you have wrestled with beings divine and human and have prevailed. As a result, we Jews, the descendants of Jacob, and our ancestral homeland are collectively known as Yisrael, or Israel. Now, it's important to note that Jacob experiences this identity-forming event in solitude. That is why verse 32:25 says, Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. Apart from the angel himself, Jacob is separated from his family, his tribe, his possessions, and other background issues in his life. Jacob has to figure out his identity, the essential meaning of his life, all alone with God's angel as his only guide. Now, what does this passage teach us that is relevant to our daily lives? Well, among other things, these verses teach us the critical difference between one's background on the one hand and one's identity on the other. All too often, Americans tend to conflate and confuse these two things. Today, many people, especially college students and other millennials, are encouraged to form their personal identities on the basis of their genetic, racial, ethnic, or sexual backgrounds. This is a mistake. We should instead build our personal identities only on the basis of our personal details, things that are unique to us. In other words, it is an error to form one's personal identity on the basis of being black, white, Hispanic, gay, straight, male, female, poor, wealthy, or whatever other background issue you want to choose. You see, one's background is really an insufficient route for a personal identity. The reason is that forming an identity on the basis of one's background leads to a very toxic form of groupthink. We are supposed to be individuals first and foremost, individuals who build complex and beautiful identities out of the unique tapestries of our personal lives. Our identities are supposed to transcend some category that we have checked off on some bureaucrat's form. Forming an identity on the basis of background usually causes us to think of ourselves as little more than victims. When we identify primarily as a member of a background group, we fail to see the beauty and joy in our own lives, and instead we obsess about the trials and tribulations of our background group. Instead of using our genetic, born-this-way backgrounds as our identities, we should labor to weave identities that are based on unique things like our values, our talents, our philosophies, our personal struggles, our challenges, and our dreams. Doing so creates a deep, rich identity that is far more meaningful than our background. You are more than what you see in the mirror, so very much more. That's all for now. I'm Rabbi Eli Garfinkel. Do check back soon for another episode of Gimme Some Torah. I also encourage you to please download my free Gimme Some Torah iOS app at the link below, and if you're watching this on Facebook, please click like. Thanks.